The stench of sin hung heavy in the air, a suffocating blanket over the world. And God saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth. Their laughter was a grating discord, and the earth was filled with violence. The earth, once a garden, was now blighted by corruption. I saw it in the eyes of children, a spark of innocence fading. I saw it in the hardened faces of men. The line between right and wrong had become blurred, and it repented the Lord that he had made man on the earth. But Noah found grace in the eyes of the Lord. For Noah was a just man and perfect in his generations. It began as a whisper, a still small voice amidst the cacophony of human sin. God spoke to my heart, revealing his sorrow over the wickedness. He would send a flood to cleanse the earth. But within that pronouncement there was also mercy. God tasked me, Noah, with building an ark, a vessel to weather the coming storm. With trembling hands and unwavering faith I embraced my destiny. For I knew that even amidst the darkest storm, God's light would guide my path. Lost in sin. The air filled with the rhythmic clang of hammer against wood, a symphony of creation echoing through the valley. Day after day my sons and I toiled, our muscles aching, our brows slick with sweat. We felled towering gopher trees, their trunks thick and strong, their wood fragrant with the scent of life. Each plank was carefully measured, shaped, and fitted into place, the ark slowly taking form, a testament to the power of faith and perseverance. The task was arduous, the labor relentless. The sun beat down upon us, scorching our skin, and the wind whipped at our faces, carrying with it the taunts and jeers of those who scoffed at our endeavors. But we pressed on, our hearts filled with a quiet determination, our spirits buoyed by the knowledge that we were doing God's work. As the days turned into weeks and the weeks into months, the ark began to take shape. Its vast hull, a testament to the ingenuity of divine design, rose from the earth, a beacon of hope amidst the gathering storm clouds of judgment. The sound of our hammers, once a lonely refrain in a valley of indifference, now resonated with the power of 1,000 prayers. a symphony of faith echoing through the ages. Word of the ark spread like wildfire, igniting a firestorm of ridicule and disbelief. People would gather at the edge of the valley, their faces twisted in mockery, their laughter echoing through the air like the screech of carrion birds. They called me a madman, a fool, an old man, lost in his delusions. But their words were like chaff in the wind, easily scattered by the unwavering conviction in my heart. I would see the doubt in the eyes of my neighbors, the fear that flickered in their hearts as they witnessed the ark taking shape. Some would approach me, their voices hushed, their questions laced with a mixture of curiosity and apprehension. They wanted to believe, to find solace in the promise of salvation, but the pull of the familiar, the comfort of denial, proved too strong. Even my own kin, bound to me by blood, struggled to comprehend the magnitude of God's decree. Their doubts gnawed at me, their skepticism a constant weight upon my soul. But I held fast to my faith, drawing strength from the quiet communion with my God, finding solace in the knowledge that my family, those who truly mattered, stood with me, united in our obedience to the divine will. As the ark neared completion, a new wonder unfolded, a living testament to the boundless diversity of God's creation. From the distant corners of the earth they came, drawn by an unseen hand, guided by a force beyond human comprehension. Creatures of every shape and size, adorned in a tapestry of colors, converged upon the ark, their very presence a symphony of life amidst the growing shadow of destruction. The sky was filled with the beating of wings, the air thick with the scent of musk and fir. Herds of lumbering beasts, their hooves drumming against the dry earth, made their way toward the ark, their massive forms casting long shadows across the valley. Slithering serpents, their scales glinting in the sun, and delicate butterflies, their wings a kaleidoscope of color, followed in their wake, drawn to this sanctuary of salvation. I watched in awe as lions lay down with lambs, their primal instinct subdued by a higher power. I saw eagles perched atop the backs of oxen, their sharp eyes scanning the horizon as if guarding the procession. And in the midst of this wondrous assembly, I felt a profound sense of peace, a confirmation that God's hand was at work, orchestrating this extraordinary migration. With the arrival of the animals, a sense of urgency descended upon us. The air grew heavy, pregnant with the scent of rain, a harbinger of the coming deluge. We worked tirelessly, guided by a divine purpose, herding the animals into their designated spaces, marveling at the intricate design that had foreseen their every need. As the last of the creatures crossed the threshold of the ark, a hush fell over the valley. The cacophony of animal sounds was replaced by an eerie silence, broken only by the steady patter of raindrops beginning to fall. Standing at the entrance, I looked out at the world one last time, my heart heavy with the knowledge of what was to come. And then the heavens opened. Torrents of rain lashed down, the wind howling like a banshee unleashed. The earth, parched and cracked only moments before, transformed into a raging torrent, the floodwaters rising with terrifying speed. With a heavy heart, I sealed the ark's massive door, the sound echoing through the vessel like the closing of a tomb. But it was not an ending, I reminded myself, but a beginning, a promise of renewal sealed by God's own hand. A world cleansed and reborn. The storm raged for what felt like an eternity. Days and nights melded into an indistinguishable blur of howling wind and crashing waves. The world outside our wooden sanctuary had vanished, replaced by a churning expanse of water. The sky was now a canvas of unending gray, heavy with the weight of the deluge. Inside the ark, a strange sense of unreality prevailed. We were adrift in a liquid abyss, our fate entirely in God's hands. As the days turned into weeks, the initial terror gave way to a numbing monotony. The storm raged on, an unrelenting force that seemed determined to obliterate all trace of the world that had been. We settled into a routine dictated by necessity, tending to the animals, rationing our dwindling supplies of food and fresh water, and praying for deliverance. The days were long and arduous, filled with the backbreaking labor of maintaining the ark and caring for its inhabitants. The nights were even worse, haunted by the relentless roar of the storm and the fear that each crashing wave would be our last. Sleep, when it came, was fitful and plagued by nightmares of a world consumed by water, a world where we were the last vestiges of life, adrift in an endless ocean of despair. Yet even in the depths of our despair, we found strength and faith. Each morning we gathered as a family to offer prayers of thanksgiving for our survival and to plead for God's mercy. We read aloud from the scriptures, finding solace in the ancient stories of God's faithfulness and love. And we clung to the promise He had made, the promise of a new beginning, a world cleansed and renewed. Or Section 3, A Flicker of Hope. Then, one day, a change. The wind began to die down, its fury replaced by a low moan. The rain slackened to a steady drizzle, then ceased altogether. A ray of sunlight pierced through the gloom. It filled our hearts with awe and trepidation. We rushed to the ark's window, eager to glimpse the world beyond. The flood waters stretched in every direction, but there in the distance, a faint smudge on the horizon. Was it our imagination, or did we see a mountain peak? Hope flickered within our hearts. Section 4. The Patience of Saints. Days turned into weeks, the weeks into months. The flood waters receded slowly, inch by inch. Our patience was tested to its breaking point. Doubt threatened to take root in our hearts. I released a raven, watching it soar into the sky. But it found nothing to sustain it. It returned, reflecting desolation. Then I sent forth a dove, hoping for a sign. The dove returned with an olive branch. Hope flared anew, filling our hearts with joy. We had weathered the storm, we had survived, and now it was time to rebuild. Section 1. The Rhythms of Confinement. The gentle rocking of the ark became a lullaby in our strange watery world. Days bled into one another, marked by tasks. We tended to the animals, their needs constant. We cleaned enclosures, spread fresh hay, rationed food, and water, each bite precious. The air heavy with the scent of animals and damp wood. Sounds of animals became our constant soundtrack. We found a rhythm, a routine amidst the extraordinary. Rose with the first light, a reminder the sun still rose. Prayed together, seeking solace and guidance. Shared meals, simple fare made precious by scarcity. As shadows lengthened, we gathered, sharing stories and songs. The endless expanse of water that surrounded us became a symbol of our isolation. Each sunrise brought the same view, a boundless ocean stretching to the horizon, mocking us with its emptiness. The days stretched on, weeks turning into months, with no sign of land, no indication of when or if this watery purgatory would end. Doubt, insidious and persistent, began to creep into our hearts like a noxious weed. Whispers of despair echoed through the ark, carried on the sighs of weary travelers. Had God forgotten us? Had he abandoned us to this watery tomb, our only companions, the animals we had saved? Even my own sons, their faces etched with the strain of our ordeal, voiced their anxieties, questioning the wisdom of the path we had chosen. But in the quiet moments, as I knelt in prayer, seeking solace in the silence of my heart, I would hear it, the echo of God's promise. It resonated in the gentle rocking of the ark, a reminder of his unwavering presence. It whispered in the rustling of the animals, a testament to his boundless creation, and it burned bright in the unwavering faith of my wife, her hand clasped tightly in mine, her eyes reflecting an unflinching belief in the unseen. The weight of the promise, the responsibility for the precious lives entrusted to my care, pressed down upon me. I was the shepherd of this floating ark, responsible for my family and the future of creation. Every decision carried the weight of that knowledge. I would stand at the ark's window, seeking a sign, a glimmer of hope. The sea remained indifferent, a reminder of the destruction and uncertainty ahead. The world we had known was gone, swallowed by the deluge. The animals, oblivious to the burden, continued their daily routines. Their resilience filled me with awe. If they could adapt, surely we could do the same. We had been chosen for a purpose, entrusted with a sacred duty. We would not lose faith. The air shifted. A new scent, faint but unmistakable, drifted across the endless water, the smell of earth. It sent a jolt of excitement through the ark. My sons and I rushed to the window. There on the horizon, a faint smudge broke the line of sea and sky. A mountain peak, a beacon of hope. Land! The word erupted from my lips. The news spread through the ark, igniting hope in every heart. Days turned into weeks as the ark, guided by the hand of God, drew closer to the mountain. The flood waters receded, leaving behind a transformed landscape. Finally, the ark came to rest on Mount Ararat. We gathered on the deck, gazing upon the world reborn. A wave of warmth washed over us. The sun's rays, a blessing. The world lay before us, a blank canvas for a new future. The silence, broken only by the soft murmur of the receding floodwaters, was profound. It was a silence that spoke of cleansing, of renewal, of a world stripped bare and offered a second chance. The air, scrubbed clean by the deluge, carried the sweet scent of damp earth and the faintest whisper of a breeze that seemed to hum with the promise of new life. Above us the clouds parted, revealing a sky of such intense blue it felt as though we were seeing color for the first time. And then, as if God Himself were painting a masterpiece across the heavens, a rainbow arched across the sky, a vibrant tapestry of color spanning the horizon. It was a sight of such breathtaking beauty, such profound symbolism, that we could only stand in awestruck silence, our hearts overflowing with gratitude and awe. This was God's promise, a visible reminder of His covenant with us, with all of creation. The storm had passed, the floodwaters receded, and in their wake, a world reborn. The rainbow, a symbol of hope and renewal, embraced the heavens, a silent testament to the enduring power of faith and the boundless depths of divine mercy. We stepped out of the ark, our feet sinking into the soft, muddy ground and into a world washed clean. The earth, still damp and glistening in the sunlight, seemed to breathe a sigh of relief. The air was fresh and invigorating, filling our lungs with the sweet taste of freedom. Animals explored the unfamiliar landscape with curiosity and trepidation. Birds took flight, their songs filling the air with joyous melodies. Small creatures scurried through the undergrowth, reclaiming their place. In their eyes, I saw a reflection of hope. We were entrusted with a sacred duty to rebuild a world of righteousness and respect. The task ahead was daunting, but we were not alone. We carried the seeds of a new covenant, forged in tribulation and repentance. Beneath the rainbow, under God's gaze, we would begin anew.